What's good, bro? Today I wanted to talk about some shit that's been bugging the shit out of me, which is something that's holding you back, which I consider to be mainstream science. Mainstream science articles, whenever it comes to dating, like I'm sure we've all seen some shit in the past, like surveys and whatever the case is, and the shit that kills me is that people really take that shit seriously. For example, the other day, I'm on the internet, I'm just browsing around. I come across these lectures from this Penn State College professor. These are like official lectures on like social relations, race relations in America, in an American college called Penn State. So people are in there, and it's basically a class about a lot of the different racial relations with people. And this ain't a video about race or anything like that. But what it comes down to is that at a certain point he started talking about Asian dating double standards, or just dating double standards, and he used Asian dudes in his example. So he basically went on a whole spiel about how basically based on dating site swipe rates and whatnot, that Asian dudes are like, basically what he did was he took an Asian dude, he had him stand up, then he took another white dude, he had him stand up, and he basically compared both of them, brought a white chick up, asked them who she thought was more attractive. She's over here like, well, they're both pretty attractive, because they try to find two attractive dudes, and he basically stood there, was like, no, 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 but you like this guy more subconsciously. But what killed me is that he came up with this random number. It was just a random as fuck number that he just pulled out of his ass. Basically, he said that in order for the average Asian dude to compete with the average white dude, he would have to make 247,000 more to be looked at equally. And the shit just made no, what? What? How do you even determine some shit like that? That's the shit that came to my mind, other than the fact that, Professor, it probably don't look like you get pussy now, let alone 30 years ago. But I know, I'm an Asian dude. Maybe I'm a little butthurt. It's not what it is, man. It's not what it is, because when it comes to other shit, it seems to be a good idea to trust a scientist. But yet, this ultimately, what is a scientist? It's someone who conducts experiments, real life field tests to see how things go. So if you're in a lab, how are you gonna be able to really tell me scientific information about attracting women if you're indoors? You don't get no bitches. You have to really think about different categories of life and the type of people that are in them. Dudes who are getting no. Here's the shit that killed me. Is this professor? He just kept repeating this number over and over and over again. It was killing me. Just the 200. No, no. At one point, she was like, "Yeah, I don't really care how much she makes money or whatever, and whether she's telling the truth or not." The fucking professor is just insisting, like, "No, no, you're only saying that, but subconsciously, in order for him to be equal in your eyes, he would have to make $247,000 more than the average white guy," which just seems insane. Like, do you know how many people even make that in the country? Like, do you even know anybody who makes that? Only like fucking 1 to 2% of the people in the whole country even make that. So that doesn't even that. I don't understand how there's a correlation between that. I don't understand how that statistically makes any fucking sense at all. First of all, how is money even a correlation 1-1 to getting bitches? Like, if you take two average dudes of different races, and one dude is like 2 steps smoother, and one dude is even 1 step not as smooth, I'm telling you, it can make a big fucking difference in the dude who's not white or whatever the case is. Like, because chicks are emotional. They're not a list of fucking, a statistical list of things to. This is just the shit that I hate. I've seen it in other forums before. This was extra disturbing, because this is like college lectures, and people are hearing this shit, and they're gonna take that shit seriously. They might just take that shit to heart, and that's what kills me, because you cannot break that shit down into one little random arbitrary number. And I don't really understand how money is the number for that shit, because there are a lot of corny dudes with money where the moment they open their mouth, they put their fucking foot in it. I'm telling you, dude, I live in New York City. There are plenty of rich people here who you look at them and you can just tell they're awkward as shit. They can't talk to bitches, probably because they spent the majority of their lives working so hard to get to that point. They didn't have the time to fucking get good with bitches. So my point of this story is, you have to do your own experiments. You got to do your own shit in life. You have to see shit with your own eyes. Don't read mainstream articles on dating, on women and sex, and take that shit to heart when you know for a fact those people, what are they doing really? Conducting a survey? I thought we went over how bitches, you can't take their word, you have to trust their actions. So how are we going to take a scientific survey seriously when it comes to these kinds of things? How are we going to take a lot of these mainstream things seriously when it comes to this type of shit? You have to go out there and push the limits, because just by reading some shit, it might implant just one little idea that's self-limiting. And just that one little implanted seed of self-limiting belief could stop you from getting that crazy threesome. Because maybe you think, oh, statistically, only 37% of girls are into threesomes based on this scientific article or some bullshit. Don't be that person, man. Fuck that shit.